tenemos el coach de Nueva Zelanda. Vamos a empezar con una pregunta.
Hi, welcome to South Florida. What do you value the most about Colombia national team, and what is your opinion about the performance of Luis Diaz and James Rodriguez?
I mean, yeah, they're a very good team and they're very good players. You know, James Rodriguez, you know, is was one of the best players in the world, and he's still a very good player. And you know, when he gets on the ball, he's very dangerous. You know, I thought it was a really good game. You know, the early goal knocked us a little bit. You know, we wanted to start the game strong, and I was so proud of the players to concede an early goal and to come back into the game and created a few chances. You know, and then the second half stayed in the game. You know, and then we got our goal to equalise. I thought that was it was a really good moment for us. And then the last goal, you know, 88 minutes is a long ball, and you know, it was unusual for us to make that mistake, and we end up losing the game. But I thought it was a very good game of football. You know, we created some chances, but yeah, I mean, Colombia are a good team. You know, ranked 13 in the world for a reason. But you know, we lived with them today for long periods.
Buenas noches, profe. Muy aparte del resultado, ¿cuál es su balance general ante un seleccionado que cuenta con jugadores que en la actualidad tienen un alto nivel?
In general, what she's asking is, what do you think about the players that you played tonight, and what do you think about their high performance?
For Colombia or New Zealand?
For Colombia.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, for us to stay in the game in a big crowd, in a big game, you know, and to equalise and to be 88 minutes at 1-1, you know, I think they'll probably want more from the team, you know. But they got some good players. They're a good team. They're going to do well at the World Cup. You know, some really good individuals, Luis Diaz, and you know, lots of good players. Brought players on that are good players. But like I say, I think we competed well. You know, we had moments where we played our game, our football, brave in possession, and you know, played through, and we had some chances. You know, when the boy hits the volley from the edge of the box, that's close. We could go 2-1 up. I'm not sure the crowd would have liked that. It was a close game, and I don't think Colombia were expecting a close game.
This is the highest ranked team has faced in this World Cup cycle. How much confidence does, or admittedly a loss, but a really tight game, give you going into the World Cup, where you'll definitely be playing teams which are much higher ranked than New Zealand?
I think it's a great experience for our players to play against this level of players and to play in front of a really good crowd, you know, a really strong, passionate crowd that were very noisy and very loud, which was a great experience. And it's the sort of game that our players will learn from, you know. I think conceding the early goal was difficult for the players, but they showed really good heart and resilience to stay in the game and not let that affect them. And we grew into the game, had some chances in the first half. And like I say, we stayed in the game second half, and then we got our goal, and then we had a couple of chances to maybe go into the lead. You know, and then conceded the goal at the end, which was a disappointing moment for everybody. But I think we'll go away from this knowing that we're a good team. There's more to come from us. We have to be at our best all the time to compete at this level. And yeah, we should be pleased but disappointed in the same breath.
Hi, this is Natalia with Florida News. How are you doing tonight?
Thank you.
Good. Which aspects do you feel that the team needs to work in specifically after this match?
For us?
Yeah.
I think there's moments where we don't take advantage of our attacking. You know, in the first half specifically, we had lots of opportunity to take a shot. You know, we get into the areas high, and then look for another pass, and then it breaks down. So, you know, we've got to get into the areas and take our shots, you know, and try to score more goals, you know. I think there's lots of good things, but there's critical moments where we gave the ball away when we had good opportunities to do better. So it's development for us, good learning for us against good players and a good team with a big crowd, which was good because it felt like a World Cup game. You know, the atmosphere was great. And so I think that the players can take a lot of heart from the game, knowing that actually, you know, we made a mistake and we lose the game, but actually we were in a good game, and there's more to come from our players.
One more question.
Coach, I would like to ask you about the competition in the next World Cup. As you know, this competition is going to be played during the summer. And the situation here about the weather is a complex situation because we are playing over the 100 degrees. What is your game plan about this for next year? Because it's a big deal in competition.
Yeah, it's difficult for everybody. You know, and we've got players that play in America, in MLS, and around the world that they play in heat. So I think it's going to be difficult. Obviously, depending on where we get in the draw. You know, we could be down in Mexico, we could be south, or we could be up in Canada, which affects the different climates. But it's going to be hot, wherever we are, because it's summer. But we've got plans to try to deal with that. You know, there'll be drinks breaks and cooling breaks, no doubt. So. Yeah, it's something that we're going to have to deal with, and try to play our game in that heat. You know, you sort of see today we're a quite aggressive defensive team. We press from that mid press, so it is quite hard for the players. You know, and the heat will make it harder. So I think our decision making of when to press and when to hold is probably going to be key for us. Good.
Okay, guys, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.